Oh yeah. Okay. If you don't know how to sign in, I'm gonna share my screen in 1 second here. Just let me close some of these secret tabs that teachers keep open, and then let me sign out of D2L. Pretty much live on D2L these days, as I'm pretty sure most of you all do as students. All right, let me exit out of that. Okay, on with the screen sharing. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay. And listen up, my kind people out here. The way I do my classes, we are remote, but and I do ask you all to mute yourselves if you aren't, speaking at the moment, but feel free to jump in, anytime if you have a question or if you have a comment or if you just have a thought about something. I'm open to you guys jumping in at any time, or you can use the chat function. But if you are using the chat function of Zoom, just make sure, unless it's a message that you want everyone to see, just make sure you're, sending it to either me or, whoever you want your message to go to. All right. So yes, if you want to jump in, cool. But if not, that's all right too. All right. So, okay. Everyone can see my screen, right? Yes. Okay. I'm gonna take your silence as a yes. All right. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right. One enthusiastic. Yes, yes, sir. I'll take it. All right. So for my people who are here for the first time, all right, I've never used the OCC bot is kind of new. I'm going to be experimenting with that in the near future. All right. So to get to D2L, just go into quick links and then just bam, there it is. And I'm like I just said, I'm on D2L a lot. So it's actually one of my bookmarks. And just my advice to you all, it's in your best interest to bookmark D2L, even when we go back to face-to-face classes, whenever that's going to be. Many of your teachers still use D2L. I know I use it a lot, whether I'm face-to-face or teaching online. So just familiarize yourself with it. And if you're a phone or a tablet person, um maybe try getting the app. It's called a D2L Brightspace or Brightspace Pulse. I just said it all wrong. All right, I just put it in the chat here. It's called Brightspace Pulse. And oh, okay, I think I got Zoom fatigue, man. I've been like zooming all day. All right, so the app to D2L is called Brightspace Pulse. All right, and you can get it from the App Store or what's the one on Android? You know what I'm talking. Google Play. There you go. All right, so yeah, you can get it from there. For me personally, I just go through the browser when I'm using it on my phone. But if you want, you can just get the app. If you are using a phone or a tablet, or excuse me, an iPad or an iPhone, you're going to have to get a Google Chrome on your phone. Safari doesn't give you all of the functionality with D2L. So just make sure that you have some kind of device that allows you to access D2L. Um, from a content standpoint, and we're going to be uploading our assignments to D2L. So try to make yourself comfortable with that as soon as possible. All right. And this is a late start. So how many weeks have gone by in the semester? Like 3, 4, 5? I don't know at this point. All right. So now, once you get to D2L's homepage, just log yourself in. Same way you log into your student account, meaning you don't need the at student .oaklandcc.edu part of your email address. Here you can just put in your username and then enter your password and log in. And that takes you here. Okay, that takes you here. All right. And this is just, I'm sure this is old news to you all, but I'm just going to go through it anyway. It's just the OCC homepage, and you'll find like general news updates here. If you need a tutor, all right, you can access one here. All right. And you can also contact the ASC, whatever your home campus is. All right. And another thing you can do from here, you can just click on your name and go to notifications. And this is the app I was talking about. So you can mess around with that if you want. All right. But there are notifications that we may find useful. And you don't have to click them all, but new announcement is one that's going to be in your best interest. And content item created and content item updated. The rest, you can just click whatever you want, but um, these are going to be the primary ones we use for this class. Announcement item updated or announcement updated, you can click on that one as well. But the rest, you can just leave blank or you can click them all. But just know if you click them all, you are going to be spammed with emails. That's why I say just click the bare minimum. Okay. I do update D2L every couple days. So it's just in our best interest to stay current with that, especially if you are, taking an asynchronous approach to this class, which is fine. All right. Asynchronous just means you just watch, you don't join us live, but you just watch you watch the class and, you stay current on YouTube. All right. Now to get to our class, this thing here that looks like an old school, phone keypad, just click on that and find our class. Okay. And your active classes are going to be toward the top. I have my active ones all pinned just so I don't get lost in all these sections. All right, and we are 226. All right, there we go. And here we are. All right. Couple folks email me about things, just either dead links or dates that it may have been confusing. I just I have hmm, 4 other sections of 1510 going right now, and I just copied my courses from one to the next. So there are some dates. The syllabus, we're okay as far as the dates. I've been just going in and switching some stuff around. There's a few little tweaks I want to do to our D2L page, but we're certainly set, at least for the next few weeks. All right. And this is where, I post news, if you want to get to our syllabus. This has been updated. So if you were looking at an old syllabus earlier, this one is the current syllabus. And then here's a little bit about me, emphasis on little. I'll introduce myself more in the discussion forum. All right. The CARES Act, if you don't have access to a computer and you need one, get with your counselor and they will help you, fill out this paperwork for this CARES Act. And you may be able to get a computer from OCC. I know in my other sections, a few students have received them already. And I think there are still some left, but I can't really guarantee it. But if you do need a computer and you want to like explore this CARES Act, whatever your home campus is, get with a counselor, on that campus. When we're face to face, I'm primarily in Royal Oak Southfield, but since we've gone to remote, I'm everywhere. All right. So that's just our news. All right. And I do update this at least once a week, but usually more than that. So do your best to stay current. I know being remote, everyone's had to make, certain adjustments, but I think the best thing we can do for ourselves is, just check D2L daily. Really put it in if you check your social media and, things of that nature, just put D2L in your rotation. You'll be fine. All right. And then I'm always available by email. Okay. So now, oh, ignore this date too. I guess this is when I made this original post during summer term, but it's still the same. Okay, mine says hello Quincy, but yours should be customized to say. All right. So now I'm going into the content section. All right. If you have, like I said, if you have questions about anything, just let me know, and we'll be happy to stop and discuss. Okay. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to switch over to student view, so mine will look identical to yours. Okay. The games are here. I will confess this to you all. I've taught like online classes before, and I use D2L a lot, but kind of missing, the face-to-face interaction that I have with students. And we just learned that we're going to continue to be remote winter term. So it's looking like, we won't be back to face-to-face until summer term or possibly fall 2021. All right. The good thing is I can just teach in these raggedy sweatpants that I wear around the house every day. So there's pros and cons. All right. Now I'm in the content section of our learning site. And just a few things for a quick tour. One, the first thing, if you need Microsoft Office, and this is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, you just click here. All right. And it takes you here. Then you just put in your school email address. That's the catch. You have to use an email address that ends in edu. And from here, you just click get started and it'll walk you through, how to get this suite onto your computer. All right. So when you first go through this process, it's going to give you the online version of Word, or the online version of Office. But all right. And I have screenshots of this that I'll post on our site to just to familiarize yourself with this if it's your first time. All right. So when you download the digital version, um, you're going to get a screen that looks, oh no, I have to remember my password. That's not happening. Okay. May have to come back to this. Let me try it again. If I have to sign in, I'll just move forward. No. Okay. Let's see. If I don't remember this, I'll just come back to it. All right. What I was going to show you is once you get the digital version, there's an option to install Office, and that's the one you want to use to get the suite actually downloaded to your computer. All right. You can use the digital version of it, but if you want to like download and save material to your computer, you're gonna have to get you're gonna have to install the entire suite. All right. So that's that. All right. And I'll come back to this module. All right. Course info. Right. Here's a syllabus right here, and then here's a little bit about me. Okay. This is a generic picture. All right. Here's me. I've been at OCC for 10 plus years. In that time, I have taught English 1055, 1060. Both of those are academic literacy courses. 1510, which is the course you are in, 1520, which is your next course, depending on your field of study. Not everyone has to take 1520, but everyone has to do 1510. 1710, which was readings in contemporary literature. And that was actually the last class I taught on the Auburn Hills campus. I did a few years in Auburn Hills, and then I transferred to Royal Oak Southfield just to be a bit closer to home. But 1710, that was readings in contemporary lit. Oh, that was my graphic novel class. That was pretty interesting. Hopefully I can resurrect that class. And then I also teach English 2570, which is African American literature. Have a section of that going in the fall. I mean in the winter. So if you're interested in that, shoot me an email and I'll tell you all about it. And I'm also faculty advisor to the OCC Black Student Union, and we're always looking for members. We do service projects. We host events. We're actually hosting one October 9th about this upcoming election, just showing people, how to get registered to vote and, all that good stuff. And then we just, we support one another. We're open to anybody, no matter your background. So yeah, if you're interested, just shoot me an email. All right. We love everybody. All right. And then, oops, I didn't mean to exit out of that. All right. And then let's look at the syllabus. Let's get that out of the way. There's a couple ways you can look at the syllabus. Okay. The first way is you can look at it right on D2L, or you can do what I'm about to do. You can just download it, and that will then give it to you as a Word document. All right, let me just crack this thing open real quick. There we go. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so here's the syllabus. I've gone over this thing, it seems like 100 times this semester. So if I start going too fast, or if there's something that you want me to cover again, just let me know. Um, English 1510 A1226, Comp 1, Fall 2020, right? Welcome to everyone who just finished up a good round of 1075. Okay. Anybody have Sharon? Sharon Cecilia? That's my homie right there. All right. Um, Instructor info, Quincy Norwood. I usually just go by my first name, but most people call me by my last name. All right. Just Norwood's fine. All right. My office, typically I would be in Southfield right now, but since we've gone remote, my office is remote. So if you ever need a conference or just some guidance, just shoot me an email. Or we can always, if we're having one of these conferences, you can just either use our chat, or you can, like I said, you can just shout out what your questions are. All right. So I don't do like quote unquote formal office hours, but like I said, if you want to just set up a one-to-one Zoom to go over some material, I'm more than happy to do that. It would just have to be a time, amenable to both those things. All right. So course info, meeting days and time, right? We're scheduled to go from 6 to 9:30. Okay. Will I keep you to 6:30? No. Sorry to break your hearts. I know everybody was like, "Oh man, I wanted to stay till 10 o'clock." Okay. Now, I try to just, especially since we're remote, things are a bit more streamlined. So I really try not to go over like an hour, hour and a half of content. All right. But again, if anybody wants to stick around after our Zoom session, or you want to just schedule, a one-to-one, or maybe there's a small group of you that want to get together and schedule a Zoom, I'm okay with that. So just let me know. All right. And then as you see, tonight, I kind of want everyone to be here because I'm just going to go over the syllabus and a few other things. But after today, our Zoom meetings are optional. If you do want to sign in and join us live, hey, welcome. But if you just want to watch the recording, that's fine too. But again, whatever choice you made, whether you choose to join us or whether you choose to go asynchronous, just make sure you're keeping up with the class. One of the things that is the downfall of a lot of college students is time management, and sometimes that can be even more of a struggle when you're doing something that's self-paced, or you're expected to be self-motivated. So just make sure you're, whatever path you walk, just make sure it's a path that keeps you aligned with what the rest of the class is doing. Even though you can do this class asynchronously, we still have deadlines that we have to adhere to. And since we are a 12-week section, um, there's stuff to get done. Okay. Yes, I will, Harvey. I will be going over the first assignment today. Okay. So yes. All right. Also, sometimes if I see a question that's in the chat that's directed to everyone, I usually just answer it verbally. All right. But if it's something that's private, I will just answer back in the chat. All right. So here we go. Location, wherever you are. Okay. Wherever you are that has reliable internet, that's fine. Whether it's your house or McDonald's parking lot. Okay. That used to be my office a long time ago, the Wendy's parking lot. All right. Course catalog information focuses on a multi-stage writing process. Students will read, analyze, and write expository essays. Okay. Building our skills as writers in this class. 1510 focuses more on like mechanics and structural writing, whereas 1520, which will be many of you all's next class, is focusing on arguments. All right, I have a section of that going as well. That's actually one of my favorite classes to teach, just critical thinking and argument and things of that nature. All right, prereq for this class, successful completion of 1060, 1075, which is, I forget that I'm having a brain freeze right now. 1075 or ESL 2520, or satisfactory score on a placement exam. All right, which, yeah, take the placement exam. All right, used to be like SAT score, but I don't know if they use that as a measurement anymore. Gen Ed course outcomes, critical thinking. All right, critical thinking is something that is essential to me as an instructor. All right, and it's really one of those foundational skills that you will apply in every course that you take. And really, the reason why critical thinking is such of such importance to me is we just need critical thinking to function as people in our society. All right. Because we just get bombarded with so many messages, throughout the course of the day, especially now, 24-hour news cycle. Most of us are on social media where information and content comes at us so fast. We have to be in almost like a constant critical thinking mindset in order to, decide, what to accept as truth versus, what's trying to sell me something, what's trying to sell me an ideology. So yes, critical thinking, and critical thinking just means that we're thinking from an analytical standpoint, not accepting things at their face value. All right. Comparing what we intake to what we already know. All right. And I think the most important thing about critical thinking is demanding evidence. Okay. Demanding evidence and then not being afraid to adjust, the things that we think and believe based on the evidence that's available to us. All right. So critical thinking, certainly important. And then effective communication. This class focuses primarily on the written word. No presentations in here. All right. Sorry to break your hearts again. Okay, no presentations. But if you have me for 1520, there is one presentation. All right. But effective communication, it's really all about just getting your ideas across to your audience as clearly as possible. All right. A little bit about me as an instructor. I do always want my students to, try to enhance their vocabulary, but I don't really get impressed by, quote unquote big words. For me, what really is impressive is clarity. Say what you mean. Okay. Say what you mean. Right. And then, if you want to go back, and nice it up a little bit, you can do that. But clarity is your best asset as a writer. Just get it out. Okay. Get it out. Get it out of your system. All right. CCOs, or common course outcomes. After successful completion of English 1510, students will be able to demonstrate understanding of audience purpose and assign tasks. Audience, we just have to write for an audience of our peers. Okay. And when we think of audience of our peers, we're thinking of critical thinkers. Okay. Our audience, just as we're going to demand evidence, we're going to analyze, the works of other writers. Okay. We have to expect our audience to do that to us as well. All right. So, and that also means just using the language that's going to best communicate with our audience. Purpose is the why. Why are you doing this? Okay. And I always try to encourage students to take grading out of the equation when they ask themselves why. And I get it. Everybody wants a good grade. That's kind of a given, among students. But, when it comes to writing, I think we should take that out, of our thought process. And then we can start thinking from this organic place, meaning like, okay, now what do I want to accomplish with this piece of writing? Okay. What do I want to communicate to my audience? And then assign tasks. Assign tasks is just following directions. Okay. Generate ideas through pre-writing activity. We're actually, since this class it's moving in a bit more of an accelerated pace, we're actually going to get to a pre-writing assignment tonight. Focus essays with provable, supportable thesis statements. Our thesis statements, are critical. Okay, they're really it's what our entire paper hinges on, our thesis statements. So we have to work, on making those. And it's really what I was saying before. clarity, right? Clarity. And a lot of times I'll just ask a student, what's your paper about? And the answer I'm looking for is the thesis statement. Even after I've read the paper, I still ask, well, what's your paper about? All right. Write paragraphs that develop and support a topic sentence. Yes, paragraph unity, coherence, and development. We're certainly going to talk about that. Use MLA format or documentation. We don't really mess around with APA in here or Chicago style. All right. I actually have one history student, and he's pretty intent on using Chicago style because that's what history folks use. But rules, man, got to follow our rules. Okay, APA we don't really mess around with. APA is a lot more work than MLA. But MLA, most of your language arts humanities classes are going to be in MLA. All right, so that's what I stick to. If you do have to use APA, in a different class, I do have some resources that I can guide you to. Same with Chicago style. Chicago style is becoming more and more rare these days, but it is, the thing for history majors. So if you're a history major, one, I applaud you for being a history major, but two, Chicago style is going to be your bag. All right. And then finally, identify and correct patterns of error in grammar and mechanics. There is, some grammar intertwined in this class, but I usually try to handle grammar issues on an individual basis. If there's something that we're struggling with as a collective, then, I will allot some class time to it. But for the most part, I focus on like content and just different genres of writing or different styles of rhetoric. All right, so but I do want us to that is an important part of writing, just grammar mechanics. And sometimes if the grammar and mechanics aren't there, it can be a distraction from the point that you're trying to prove. So there are some things we'll do as a collective, but for the most part, I will just give you just individual guidance and just individual practices. Okay, textbook and supplemental materials. Okay. Full disclosure, the college writer bundle is not, what I normally use. So I've been just messing around with it since early September. And, it's, I've been teaching English, for I don't know how many years. And, I mean, thesis statement is a thesis statement, no matter what textbook you're looking in. So, meaning the rules of English are the same. But the book that I traditionally use is way cheaper than the book that you all use. All right, but when in Rome or when in Auburn Hills, do as the Auburn Hillians do. I don't know. All right, so I just conform to use the book there. All right, so our book is the College Writer Bundle, and it is available in our bookstore. Or I do have a link on D2L where you can get it right from the publisher. And I'm not sure about this. I've heard different things, and I can't really go that deep into the exploration of it as an instructor. But I want to say you can get the ebook, which I'm totally okay with. I have a physical copy of the book around here somewhere, but I prefer ebooks when it comes to textbooks. So just try to get that as soon as possible. And then next week or even in the meantime, I will post some information about MindTap. MindTap is the accompanying software that comes with our book, and that's why they call it a bundle. So yeah, just make sure you get that as soon as possible. If you don't have it tonight, you're okay. All right. Actually, our first assignment doesn't involve our textbook. All right. Supplemental materials, some kind of digital device. Okay. Yes, that is what Cengage is. Cengage is it's the online component to our book. All right, and we do have a course set up. And like I said, after this call tonight or after this class tonight, I will post instructions on how to set up your account and then get yourself logged into our class. Cengage, or excuse me, MindTap is cool because you can upload papers, to get tutoring, and there are some things I will assign using mind tap, but it's really just a supplement to what we're going to do in our class. So try to get that as soon as possible, but if you're having issues getting it, just let me know by email, and then we'll work it out. Good question. Jody, do you have access to the ebook on Cengage? I don't know. Okay, let me I think I have Cengage open real quick. Actually, let me come back to that. All right, because if you have access to Cengage, Jody, and others, you probably have the book, because when I log into mine, the ebook kind of have to look for the ebook, but it is there. All right, let me just give me 1 second here. It doesn't make me log back in. All right, there we go. You have full access. So Jody, is this looking familiar? Did you see this when you first got active, or you first activated your account? No? Okay. Wow. Ah. What about this, Jody? Is this looking familiar? Here's the book. Ah, okay. First thing, use your school email address. Okay. So in this, yes. All right. Because you should at least have the digital book, with the with your subscription. All right. But we'll come back to it. I will post a tutorial. Whatever you have tonight is cool. I just want to finish getting through this syllabus here. Okay. Yeah, Jody, just follow up with me and let me know what happens. All right, but we're fine tonight. Okay, $69 is too expensive to me. You know how much my book costs for my 1510s that I usually do? $15, and it's good for 4 years, like the registration period. All right, we'll pick that up. Let me just check out one more quick thing. Just bear with me for a sec. Okay, so this is the righteous copy. It's, it works. All right. But Jody, no worries, man. We'll get you taken care of. All right. So we'll come back. All right. Now, you need some kind of digital device, computer. Tablets are fine, but again, if you are using D2L to upload assignments, just make sure you're using Chrome. All right, Word. Word is preferred for this class. All right, and again, it's free on D2L. Um, Google Docs, in a bind will do. The only thing that PDFs are okay too. The only thing that's not cool for this class is Pages. So not to be discriminatory toward my Mac users out here, but if you do have a Mac and you've been using Pages in the past, just make sure you download that copy of Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office. All right, then reliable internet, of course. All right. It's OCC stuff. Academic integrity. It is college policy that no student shall engage in behavior which, in the judgment of the instructor or the class, may be construed as academic dishonesty. This may include, but is not limited to, plagiarism, presenting another individual's ideas, data, words, images, or other products without giving credit to the originator, or other forms of academic dishonesty, such as the acquisition without permission of tests or academic materials and or distribution of the same. This includes students who aid and abet, students who aid and abet, as well as those who attempt such behavior. So I guess, what the handbook is saying, if you and someone else, in concert, devise some scheme, then I guess you're all on the hook for that. But with this class, everything you upload to D2L goes through plagiarism checking software. Turnitin.com. So and you can see your own. I have our assignment folders configured so you can see your own percentage. So if your percentage is too high, then you can then edit your work. So no worries about that. And if you don't know what I mean by Turnitin percentage, we'll have that discussion. All right. Student code of conduct. Some of these I'm going to read. Some of them are more suited for face-to-face interaction. Be on time. I usually start our meetings around 6. All right. I'm skipping around. Demonstrate high ethical standards. For example, no cheating, plagiarism, or plagiarism. This one, keep classroom corridors quiet. That one, we can interpret that one as, like I said, if you're not, speaking or, engaging the class in some other way, just mute yourself. That's fine. But again, when you want to, make a point or you want to say something, you can just unmute yourself and jump in at any time. Maintain civility, and there are some things that we'll do in a discussion forum that requires us to respond to one another. I would just say make sure you're practicing civility, and really, just be kind to one another. It's fine to have disagreements, but I think when disagreements escalate into like personal attacks and things of that nature, then it becomes an issue. All right, so respect differences in others. All right, no harassment. I actually had a troll on one of my Zoom meetings this semester. I think one of my students may have shared, the invite with somebody, and yeah, somebody was coming there harassing, so they had to get booted. All right, refrain from vulgarities. I mean, we're all adults here. Just I guess refrain from things that people would find offensive, and abide by the college's rules and regulations. All right, just pretty standard stuff. Pretty much, just be respectful of one another, and we'll be okay. All right. Here's our scale. All right, I had to manipulate this a little bit to get everything in because we're such a short. I'm not going to say a short class, but 12 weeks is going to blow by. Trust me. All right, so we culminate or we end our semester with the final argument and research-based essay, and that's pretty hefty when it comes to just the weight of it. And we do put a lot of time and energy into that assignment. So it's 25%. Final draft of our causal analysis essay, which is basically an essay where we analyze a cause and effect relationship. Which cause and effect relationship, that's your choice. All right. Final draft of narrative essay, 15% of the grade. We're actually going to get started on our first essay tonight. And by get started on, I mean, we're going to start thinking about it. All right. Discussion forum, another 10% of our grade. We usually have, something weekly to respond to in our D2L discussion forum. Rough drafts, take those collectively as 10%, and then your paper and proposal, your research paper proposal 5%, and then mind tap exercises, none of which have been assigned yet. So if you're panicking about the book, we're okay. All right, 10, yeah, okay. So we're cool. All right, and then grading scale, just standard OCC stuff. All right, now if you want to transfer this class, right, you got to get a C or better out of this thing. All right, don't believe that old adage, C's get degrees, though. Even though it's true, but you should always aim higher than a C. Okay, but sometimes you work your you know what off and you get a C. That's if you did your best, I think you can be content with that. All right. The N mark. Okay, the N just means that you have to show up within the first 20% of a class. All right. Um, and in in grade, it doesn't have an impact on your GPA, but it does impact your financial aid. Or let me take that back. It can impact your financial aid if you are not careful, or if you have a bunch of like N's and I's and W's, you're gonna get flagged for suspicious enrollment when you do a FAFSA. So make sure that you're attending class. All right. FERPA is just the Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Per the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, college personnel are not allowed to release a student's personal information to anyone, including other students. Okay. That means if someone asks me about you, cannot reply. And that goes for like family members, spouses, other people that you may have checking up on you for whatever reason, unless you have signed a FERPA waiver allowing that person, to receive information about you. I'm unable. So if someone like emails me and asks like, "Hey, how's such and such doing?" Can't answer that. All right. And another FERPA issue is make sure when you're contacting me, you're using your OCC email address. All right. And I say that because that just protects your privacy because, in the college's viewpoint, you're the only one that has that password. So make sure you're protecting your own privacy, right? Don't share that password with anybody. Right. I've had parents in the past, impersonate students. But it's college, man. Not many of your teachers, want to talk to parents. Okay, just to be totally honest. All right. If you're still a minor, of course, your parents are welcome. But if you're over 18, man, yeah, gotta be on your own out here. All right. ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act. Students requiring special assistance, including those affected by the ADA, should contact the access office. And if you click that hyperlink, it's going to link you to all the access offices. And I would just say use the access office that's on your home campus. Even though we aren't face to face, we will be eventually. And wherever you plan to take the majority of your classes, that's the access office you should get in contact with. I've already received a few access notifications, and I will make whatever accommodations I need to. I'm totally okay with that. But just make sure you take that initiative to contact them. The ASC, Academic Support Center, again, there's a link to all of them, but use the Academic Support Center that's on your home campus. The ASC provides programs and services that help OCC students to be successful in achieving their academic goals. Tutoring, SI, supplemental instruction. I used to have an SI for 1510, but I stopped using one a couple semesters ago. And study skill seminars. The ASC, not just saying this because I'm an OCC employee, but the ASC, they do have really useful skills study skill seminars. There's a good one on time management, and there's just a few good ones. All right. But yeah, check those out. When you have time. Most of them, if not all of them, right now, are offered online. All right, so have a look at them. All right. If you are experiencing technical difficulties in this course and wish to speak directly to a D2L tech support person, call that number. Now, if your issue is with like uploading a paper or accessing content or something like that, just email me and I'm pretty sure I could guide you through that. But if you're having like login issues or issues with your password, sometimes if you log in too many times, or if you miss your password too many times, you will have to contact tech support in order to reset it. So again, just contact them with your issues. But I can already see most of us are signed in, so that's cool. All right, here's some accessibility stuff you can go through. All right, Tower. This one mostly applied to OCC computers, so we can bypass that. Netiquette, you can click the link and get the details of it, but Netiquette is basically like be nice to each other. Okay, be kind to one another. And then public safety, um, that's going to differ from campus to campus. Southfield, our public safety is also our lost and found. And I guess the relevance of this right now, since we're being remote, if you do have to go to campus for whatever reason, public safety is probably going to stop you at the door. And one, you have to have a legitimate reason for being on campus, and two, they're going to make you sign in and like document the time that you've been on campus. So I went to the Southfield campus maybe a couple weeks ago. It was just a complete ghost town. All right, I did. Public safety was there though. All right. And this is just stuff you can go over on yourself. I usually turn assignments around in 7 days. I actually try to get them back sooner, but 7 days would be the max, unless there's some unforeseen circumstance. All right. And then emails I try to get back as soon as possible, but 28 or really 48 hours would be the max. If I don't get back to you in 48 hours, it probably means I overlooked your email, just not intentionally. But if I don't get back to you within 48 hours, just it's cool. Just shoot me another email. But most emails I try to get back. My email goes right to my phone, and if I have a free space, or free time, I can just get back to you. But I will say Monday and Tuesday, my days are like jam packed with activity. So if I don't get right back to you, it's not because I'm neglecting you, it's just because my Monday Tuesdays are just like go 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 go. All right. And then Wednesday is I'm settling down a little bit, but I still have a full schedule. But Thursday, Friday are my days where I kind of get caught up on stuff. All right. But I said all that to say I'm available. All right. Okay. Here's the calendar. Um, I might mess around with some dates on our calendar, but for the most part, we're set. Okay. So here's the week, here's the content we cover, and then here's the assignments. And then I also put the due date for our assignments. And the majority of our assignments are going to be submitted through D2L. I don't take assignments by email. So make sure you're getting your assignments uploaded to D2L. If you have questions about that process, let me know. But try not to email me your work. Okay. Questions about that material? I know that was a lot to take in, and thank you for your attention as we were going through that. All right, cool. Again, the syllabus is available on D2L. All right. In the let me just go back to the table of contents here. All right. In the course information module. All right. So you can have one. You can either look at it on D2L, like I was saying, or you can just download it to your computer. That's fine. All right. Now, I'm going to change gears a little bit. Okay. And in the next 20 minutes or so, maybe less than that, before I let you guys, call it a night, really just wanted to talk just a little bit about critical thinking and just drop, the assignments for the upcoming week or for this week on you. And then, I'll take some questions and then we can do all that for the night. Okay. Here's a question too. And again, you can either shout it out or, you can put it in the chat. I know everyone's we answered about being familiar with D2L. What's our level of familiarity or comfortability with uploading assignments to D2L? Okay, because if you don't know how, I can go through it real quick and okay, 10, very good. I can go through it, and I also things like that. I haven't created the module just yet, but either tonight or early tomorrow, there will be a module on our page called D2L tutorials, and it's really just me just going through like basic stuff on D2L, how to upload an assignment, how to access certain aspects of it. So if you don't know how to get your assignments up, yeah, okay. Yeah, Cengage, we'll get back to that. No worries about that for right now. We're okay. Okay. But if you get the text from the bookstore, that's the Mind Tap in our book. My only concern about getting it from the bookstore is it still has to be shipped to you, and you know that's probably going to be a couple days. But let's we can table that for right now. The tech the Mind Taps Engage stuff. So we're okay right now. All right, cool. All right. So D2L stuff and uploading assignments. All right, here's our first assignment. All right. And if you want to, again, I have a video of myself, going through these steps, but just very quickly to upload an assignment, you just click on assignments. And here's our first one. Just click on it. All right, here's the assignment itself, but you can skip down. When you're ready to turn it in, just go add a file, upload. All right, I'm just gonna put, anything in here. All right, here we go. Thai Express, I like this place. All right. Of course, you're gonna upload an actual assignment in here. All right. All right. So, and then if you have a message here, you can just type it. All right. If you don't have a message, that's cool too. But if you do have something that you want to communicate, just type that here. But if not, you can just leave it blank and then you can just hit submit. And once you hit submit, then I have your assignment. All right. But again, you can either rewatch, this section of the Zoom call, or like I was saying, I will post a few tutorials on how to get back to that. All right. Not in hindsight, I should have just used my own book for this class. All right. But life is about learning lessons. Okay. So intro to critical thinking in an academic setting. Okay. Now, all right. Just a couple items that I want you all to have a look at. Okay. And then there's also a discussion question that I have not made visible yet. But once I activate it, you'll be able to see it here. And it's basically your, perception of critical thinking. So I do want you all to review this material if you need a refresher course on critical thinking. But critical thinking, again, it's just, thinking from an analytical standpoint, and not accepting things on face value. And I say it's important to us, as writers and as student writers, because the mechanics of writing, that can just come from practice. Okay, practice and repetition. All right, but generating ideas, that can come from practice as well. But I think we have to, put ourselves in the right, mental space, to practice critical thinking. And I think critical thinking is something that we do as a constant, in our lives. Sometimes we think critically when we make our schedules. okay? Because we have to compare, the amount of time that we have versus, all the things that we have to get done, whether it's school, whether it's balancing a family, job, all that. All right. So, we think critically, you know, when you decide, what phone to get, right? We look at, sometimes we look at specs, sometimes we look at affordability, but these are all factors that we have to take into consideration. And what's what's going to be happening in November? All right, that the nation is talking about right now. You can shout it out or put it in the chat. What's this big thing that's coming up that's going to really affect our entire nation and globally? When you really think about it. Oh yeah, somebody got it. The election, absolutely. Okay. Why is it important to be a critical thinker during campaign season? Of all seasons. Okay, always important to be a critical thinker, but I think why will it especially pay off? During campaign season. Why do you all think? I mean, can you watch TV? Well, cable, okay, they don't show commercials, but can you watch TV with commercials for maybe 10 or 15 minutes without seeing some political ad these days? They're everywhere. All right, they're everywhere, and you must be able to absolutely, absolutely. Even YouTube, yes. And I I spend a lot of time on YouTube, for academic reasons, obviously. No, but I'm on YouTube a lot, and you're right. YouTube, they're everywhere. Okay, these campaign ads, and I think no matter what your political affiliation is, you really have to. You want to get different candidates? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think, Michaela, that's why we need to be in like a critical thinking mindset because no matter what your political affiliation is, elected officials, people running for audience for office, they're great at analyzing audience, or they have people, who are great at analyzing audience and very good at fine tuning a message to tell their supporters or people who may be middle of the road, very good at telling them what they think they want to hear. So we have to, assess our own values, and then we have to hold our elected officials accountable, right? Even when they're, campaigning. So I think that's where critical thinking comes into play. Just, holding people accountable is like, hey, person running for this, you said you were going to do this, but here's your track record, right? So I think we have to put ourselves in, in that mindset and, stay in that mindset of, being able to think critically about things. So here's just some supplemental material that I put in this intro to critical thinking module. And I put this one first because again, I want critical thinking to be our foundation, in this class. All right. Here's a great article about how, facts or how fiction can become fact, on social media. I'm sure, those of us who use social media have either shared, some news or saw a news story get shared and that person shares it, another person shares it pretty soon, that story becomes true, right? Even though if you do a fact check, you find out that it's not really true. All right. There's sites like Snopes. There's sites like factcheck.org. These are great sites, just for kind of delivering, objective perspectives of, the content that that's thrown at us, every day. All right. So take a few moments, after this class or over the next week to review that material. And I put it first again because I want it to be something that we use as our foundation. All right. Now, okay. Here's the nuts and bolts of the tasks we're assigned. All right. Writing process. Okay. Just gonna open this real quick. All right. We'll cover this and I'll give you some assignments and then we could call it call it an evening. All right. So the writing process, and normally, like I wouldn't be delivering this much content on our first meeting, but again, we're a late start, so some of the buildup, I had to minimize, unfortunately. All right. So the writing process, the first thing we have to understand, our assessment of ourselves as writers. Sometimes we have this negative approach to writing, and I hear it from students all the time, right? I'm not a good writer, or I can't stand writing, I hate writing. All right, that's fine, but I think if we start to think about writing as a skill that just comes with practice, anybody can become, a successful writer, if they put the time in the work in. All right. So if you think that you're not a good writer, or if you've been told, hopefully no one's been told this by an instructor, but if you've been told that, you can shake that off. That's the past. All right. Every day is a new opportunity. All right. So pre-writing or brainstorming, getting our ideas together. And that's the first thing we're gonna do with this first essay that we have. All right. Pre-writing is um to use the analogy of like sports, it's before you do whatever you do, as far as like before you do whatever you do athletically, gotta warm the body up first. Okay, do some stretches, maybe you want to do some cardio in the beginning just to get a light sweat. That's really what your pre-writing is. You're thinking about ideas, you're getting yourself organized. All right. You're establishing your purpose, you're thinking about your audience, and you're thinking of the main idea you want to communicate. Okay. Every piece of writing that we do in this class will be preceded by some pre-writing activity. And tonight, the first pre-writing activity will be assigned. Um, Reflections, outlines, mapping, or the web. Some people you may have heard it called. Sometimes it's just brainstorming on like a sheet of paper, right? Okay, there's my mouse. Okay, all right. So brainstorming, pretty cool. Where did my? Okay, here we go. I just closed out of Chrome with my mouse. Right, that sucks. All right. All right. Sorry about that. Just dropped the mouse, and my mouse tried to scurry away. And we're A226. There we go. Yeah, everything's moved too. Nice. Nice going, Norwood. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. All right, I'll just keep it on D2L now. For that. There we go. This is why I usually download things as Word on D2L or as Word documents from D2L. Sometimes the preview screen takes a bit long. All right. Okay. So pre-writing, which is what we're going to get started on, and then we're going to move to the drafting process. And we're actually going to be drafting our first essay starting next week. Okay. Starting next week. And one thing I don't want for my students is for them to be intimidated by writing. Okay. Writing is not something that's reserved for the quote unquote chosen few. All right. Again, it's something that we can learn. And for the drafting process, the main thing that I want you all to keep in mind is when you're writing a rough draft, keep in mind that it is just that, a rough draft. Okay. You can always go back and revise it. You can always go back and rearrange your ideas. But I think the main thing in a rough draft is getting your ideas out. Not so much worrying about like the mechanics of it. You can always go back and fix that stuff in the editing stages. But rough drafts are primarily for getting your ideas on paper. So take the ideas that you came up with in your pre-writing and then develop those into a draft. Okay. And pretty soon, if you follow the process, you're going to see your work, coming together. All right. So after you put a draft together, and then when we speak in like real time terms for this class, once you submit a draft to me, I read it and return it to you with my feedback on there. And then you go through the drafting, or excuse me, the revision process. And one thing that we should get into our brains is revision is more than fixing, right? So it involves going beyond what I or another instructor or a peer, it goes beyond, looking at what has a comment next to it and then just fixing that, going through your paper, fixing, and then you're done. Okay. Revision, you're just going back through your own paper. Of course, you're taking all the commentary into consideration, but at the end of the day, it's your name that goes on your paper. So, you decide what goes in your paper, what you're going to take out of your paper. And when you revision, you're asking yourself, right? Is my thesis stated clearly? Do my body paragraphs stick to my thesis statement? Do my body paragraphs have enough detail? Are my body paragraphs unified, meaning like built around one, single idea? So these are the ideas, or these are the things that you're asking when you're revising. Can my paragraphs be rearranged? Meaning maybe you have a paragraph that's, towards the end, but it's like, you know what? That's a really engaging paragraph. So I want to lead with that, instead of, burying it toward the end of my paper. So these are, the steps, or these are the ideas you're looking for. And a good rule to consider, or to take into consideration, is when you're revising, you're thinking content, you're thinking organization, right? You're not worried about, punctuation, word usage. And when I say word usage, I mean like there, and there, and, things of that nature. That step comes last. Okay. It's an important step, when you edit, but if the content of your essay isn't there, it really doesn't matter how polished, the essay is going to be. So pre-writing, drafting, revising, and then editing. Okay. Now you're polishing. Now you're crossing your T's, and you're dotting your I's, and you're checking for there, and there. And really just common errors that we can catch just by going back over your paper. Capitalization. I know that's a big issue these days because a lot of us are texters, myself included, and it's kind of hard to shift mindsets if texting and social media is, the dominant mode of writing that you do. All right. Which is fine. All right. But when you edit, okay, just remember you're checking those nitpicky issues, but they're important. Okay. Too many of those issues can be a distraction for your audience. So that's why it's important to go back over this stuff and, make sure you're, after you're satisfied with your content, make sure you're editing, properly, and grammarly. Okay. Spell check. I don't, it's, the word doesn't call it spell check anymore, but I still call it that. And, these are some great tools, but really the best tools are your own eyes, and your own brain. All right. So, make sure you're following the process. Okay. And, again, there's some additional supplemental material in our writing process module. All right. But now, okay, here's our discussion question. All right. But it's not visible to you all yet. I really want us to do the critical thinking discussion question for this evening. So I will I will make that visible. All right, I'm back in teacher view. All right. Now, let me just drop this assignment on you and we'll call it. All right. Now, here's your first official assignment. Okay. Actually, I do want to be in a student view real quick. There's one thing that's visible to you. I'll make this one visible as well. All right, now we're talking. All right, class list. Okay, here we go. All right, now. Yes, okay. I'm getting to that in a sec, Michaela. All right, but I usually post the the dates. Okay, the dates on your assignments, and then I always update D2L as well. Like when we end this class and I get this the recording of this call converted, I will post that along with some additional updates and just straighten a few things out about our book in the mind tap. All right, so just bear with me for a minute on that. All right, so there's a few assignments that I want us to get to, and again, I will be recapping all of this. All right, so if you didn't get it all, that's cool. All right, our first assignment is in this course information module. All right, here's me, our instructor profile, and then here's our syllabus. But the first assignment is this. Okay, introduce yourself, man. Especially since we're all, I know it's evening and we're kind of quiet and it's the first day. That's cool. All right. So here we go. Please introduce yourself. Tell us your name. Okay. Your major. If you're undecided, that's fine. I was undecided for quite some time. But then I just, I always liked reading and writing. So I was like, you know what, I might as well do that since I already like read and write. All right. But if you're undecided, when you choose a major, pick something you care about. Okay. Your plans after OCC, what do you want to do with yourself? All right. If you're still figuring it out, put that in there. You know, Nobody's asking you to have your entire life figured out by 18, 21, or however, whatever age we are. Okay, even if you're my age, okay, we'll just say 40, 47. All right. So plans after OCC. And like I said, if you're still figuring it out, put that in there. And then something interesting about yourself to break ice, or something interesting about yourself. And when I say something interesting, that's up to you. Okay. If you think it's interesting, we're all gonna think it's interesting. All right. And maybe you're a twin, right? Maybe you have another interesting quality, okay, about yourself. Or I was just doing two things at once. It says I'll go first to break the ice. I have not gone first just yet, but I will, very shortly. All right. Totally not going to copy paste from my other classes. I would never do it. Okay. So that question is in the course information module. So that is one thing, all right, that we should do before we meet again. Okay. And then just reply to two of your classmates. Just say, hey, nice to meet you. And when we're face to face, one of the things that I try to do is establish classroom community. All right. So, I do that the best I can, when we're online. All right. So that is one assignment. Okay. Second thing, okay, going to this critical thinking module. Now, all right. Critical thinking is the foundation of academic writing. We also think critically when we make decisions. Who should I vote for? Should I get an iPhone or an Android? Should I go to college or learn a trade? Okay. The important questions in our lives involve critical thinking and it is essential for us to develop this skill. All right. Review the material in this module, Introduction to Critical Thinking. That's all this stuff. You can go through this at your leisure. All right. And then, okay, create your post. Discuss what critical thinking means to you. in your own words. So yes, review that material, but I do want you to put it in your own words. Okay, don't copy from the source material. Okay, put it in your own words. Okay, I want to hear what you're thinking. All right. How critical thinking factors into your own life, decision making, academically, personally. All right. Whatever. And no right or wrong answer for that one. All right. And then at least two strategies for improving critical thinking. One of the ones that I try to incorporate into my own life is just this notion of mindfulness. And mindfulness just means, focusing on the present moment and really doing one thing at a time, monotasking. So if you're doing one thing, you're giving that, your full focus. All right. So that's one of my strategies, and I'll be happy to share some more with you. But there are plenty, in this module. Okay. So now introduce yourself, reply to the critical thinking question, and here is our third, okay, in the writing process module. So really our first three modules, okay, course info, intro to critical thinking and writing process is where we have assignments, okay? So there's no discussion question here. Now, I'm just gonna download this. Or actually, I'll show you the full thing. I'm in student view and I usually put the due dates on assignments, and all of our assignments, unless noted otherwise, are due at 6 o'clock on Monday. All right. So when I give assignments, you usually have a week to take care of them, unless I have noted that. And sometimes our essays, will take the process will take longer than that week. Give me 1 second. All right. That autumn sunset. All right, approaching quickly. All right, quicker than normally. All right. So to access our assignments, right? Just click it. All right. And there's a couple ways to access this. It's the same as our syllabus. You can read it here, or because you guys want to be able to see this, but I already uploaded this menu. Okay. Might be a Thai Express night tonight too. I don't feel like cooking. All right. So here's the assignment. And if you want it on Word, it's at the bottom. I'm just going to open it in Word. All right. Now, okay, this reflection is going to turn into our first assignments, our first essay, excuse me. All right. There's this assignment's in three parts. And look, it's the first day, right? So if you're nervous, okay, about our first assignments, okay, don't be. Don't be. You're gonna do fine. All right. But yeah, just do your best and we'll work from there. But as when I evaluate these, I fully understand it's the first day and we're still kind of finding our way. But just do your best with this. Okay. 1510 narrative reflection. I usually start off with a narrative essay because it's just a good essay to get your feet wet. Um, and then I scaffold my assignment so the next one will be a bit more challenging, and then the final essay will be even more challenging and longer. All right. So our beliefs are an essential part of our identity. However, in our lives of constant movement and activity, we rarely get a spare moment to reflect on the ideals we hold sacred. Use this first reflection assignment to explore the beliefs of others and to articulate your own. Additionally, the music we listen to often shapes us. Many of us have seminal songs in our lives that have impacted us in a meaningful way, i.e., coming of age music. Okay. Or, music that's just associated with, an important time in our lives. Okay. Music can guide us and help us make sense of our world. Reflect on a song that has facilitated your personal growth or one that's directly or indirectly related to your belief. Okay. Now, here's the direction for the assignment. Okay. Read and listen. Go to thisibelieve.org, which is here. All right. And when you get here, go explore. You can search any way you want, but I just go browse by theme because it gives you the most options. Okay, so you click browse by theme and then find something you're into. Okay, find something you're into. I will next week maybe I will show you one of my favorite essays. It's actually the first one, Kike Aviles, I Will Take My Voice Back. And it's really about a person who is Kike, he's an accomplished writer, poet, performer, but he also, or at least at the time that he penned this essay, he has a serious or struggling with drug addiction. And I just like the whole, duality of that. All right. So you're going to thisibelieve.org, explore, browse by theme, and then what you are going to do, find an essay that speaks to you for some reason. Like I said, I listened to like quite a few of these. I've been doing this assignment for a couple of years, and I always listen to essays my students recommend, and then I just occasionally browse through this to look at and find essays that look interesting, and I'll listen to them or read them. And this one, Kike has really resonated with me, like I was saying, just addiction and just our perception of people who are or who are addicts, about how we sometimes judge them without expressing some form of empathy. So I that's why that essay stood out to me. But you're going to find your own, right? Once you have found your essay, summarize the key ideas in one paragraph. What's your essay about? All right. And remember, when you summarize an essay, you're not evaluating it. You're not saying, whether you liked it, whether it touched you or whatever. What's that essay about? That's it. Okay. In a paragraph. And I know a paragraph is typically short for a summary, but for here, we just want main idea. What's the belief? And then what are some elements of this story? Right? So first paragraph is, and I will post some examples of ones that have already been completed. I just have a few in mind that I have to make anonymous. But after you have written that paragraph, your next paragraph in this assignment is going to be about why that one. What about this essay spoke to you? All right. And again, it could be, something serious like Kike's, or, some of these essays are lighthearted. Some of them are written by celebrities, some of them are written by high school folks, some of them are written by senior citizens, everything in between. Um, but the majority of them are written just by everyday folks, folks like you and I. Okay, folks that are just, trying to figure it out. So once you have, or now that you have read, oh, excuse me, once you have, I'm sorry, let me back up a little bit. Now that you have read somebody else's belief, think about your own. Okay. So the first part of this assignment, one paragraph summarizing, second paragraph, why you chose that. Okay. Our next paragraph. Okay. What's your belief? Okay. And when I say what's your belief, I mean, what's a belief that kind of guides your life? Okay. Nobody's perfect. Everything happens for a reason. We have to love ourselves in order to love others. Okay. Things like that. Or maybe you have some other belief. That's cool. I'm not judging your belief on this assignment. That's, whatever you believe, that's totally up to you. It's not even going to factor into how this assignment is scored. The main thing about this is your belief should be your own. Okay. Now, if it's a belief you're raised with and it's still a belief that you consider truth, that's fine. But a lot of times we get raised with certain beliefs, but when we start to form our own identities, it's like, well, that's fine, parents or whoever raised us, but it's like, I'm going this way. All right. And that's fine. Okay. Now that you have read about someone else's belief, think about your own. Spend some time thinking about a principle that guides your life. Your belief is completely up to you. Just make sure that it's your own. After you have a clear idea of your belief, write a minimum of one paragraph about how it influences your life. Okay. So personally, I believe in kindness. All right. So if I were putting this paragraph together, I would just discuss how, this idea of kindness kind of affects really everything that I do. Okay. Everything that I do, or at least most of what I do, because, kindness, you know, it's not, well, some people make it hard to be kind to them, but, kindness, is one way of advancing our species. Okay. So your belief's up to you. Now we're up to three paragraphs, or a minimum of three paragraphs. Okay. First paragraph, you're summarizing the essay you chose. Second paragraph, you're discussing why you chose that particular essay. And then your third paragraph is about your own belief. Something that's important to you. Okay. And then finally, okay, our last paragraph of this thing, as the final part of this assignment, choose a song related to your belief. The connection to your belief could be through words or a feeling that your chosen song conveys, meaning your song does not necessarily have to be about the belief, meaning the words in the song don't have to be about the belief, but this could be a song that was playing during this formative time in your life. All right. This is the song that I listened to in summer, 2012, when I learned, X, Y, and Z. Okay. Also, your song doesn't have to have words, doesn't have to be in English. All right. So whatever you're feeling, okay. I would just say don't choose your favorite song of the moment. All right. Choose a song that has like some real meaning to you. Now, if that's your favorite song of the moment, then use that one. But really spend some time thinking about this. And like I said, I've been doing this assignment for a good minute now. And I've heard everything from one of the ones that stick out in my mind. A student used the theme song, or the some of the theme music from Mass Effect. If you're a gamer, Mass Effect. Mass Effect is a great game, actually one of my favorite games. So that's the music really touched him in some way. Another, used the theme song from Superman, not Clark Kent, but the Henry Cavill Superman. All right, I think Hans Zimmer, did the score for those films. All right, so interesting stuff. So what I'm saying is, feel free to think outside of the box, to use a cliche. All right, so yeah, the connection, could be through words or a feeling, and then you're going to write a paragraph about why you chose that song and how it relates to your belief. So this assignment is a minimum of 4 paragraphs. How long is a paragraph? Um, Shake off these preconceived notions of numbers. Okay. Paragraphs are unified, coherent, and developed. Okay. If you need some additional guidance on paragraphing, check out that paragraphing resources module on D2L. But don't think in terms of like I said, a predetermined amount of sentences for each paragraph. Just think in terms of their characteristics. Unity, meaning like they focus on one idea. Coherent means that each idea flows smooth, or each sentence kind of flows into the next one. Coherence just means flow, right? And then develop. Development just answers the question, what does my reader need to know? Okay, do I have enough detail here? All right, but again, just do your best work. Okay, assignment goals, right? I'd usually try to put this on every assignment so we can have some understanding of our purpose. All right, integrate reading and writing, because we are going to have to do some reading and then some writing. Practice paragraphing strategies, because each one of these sections has to be in the form of a paragraph. We're summarizing and we're responding just in a really short, really short burst here, I guess. And then intro to the conventions of writing. Okay. And then of course, self-exploration, which in essence, most writing is about self-exploration. All right. Now, just some more details about this assignment. Make sure you're doing your work using MLA formatting guidelines. If you don't know what that is, cool. I will post a tutorial about how to set your paper up. But it's really just, let me see if I have one open already. I do not. Okay, I just do one really quickly in MLA. We're almost done. And again, thank you all for bearing with me. I know I've been talking a lot. I really don't talk this much in face-to-face classes. All right. MLA format is name, instructor name, class, and date to the right. Oops, wrong class. I just finished up at 1060. You don't have to put the section number and then the date. And today's the, yeah. All right. And then first thing, make sure you're in the right font. All right. Again, I'm going to post a tutorial of this. So if I'm going too fast, just sit tight. All right. And then you want to get your page numbers up. Spell your name right, of course. All right. All right. And then you come back to a line left. Okay. Now you're ready to start. Okay. Now you're ready to start. All right. So again, I will go ahead and get that tutorial on D2L also. I just have to go snag it from my YouTube page. Okay. I do have a YouTube page if anyone's interested. Okay. I have 1 subscriber. All right. And that's that, folks. Okay. Any questions before I let you get out of here for the night? Okay. Book stuff, I'm on it. All right. And there's 2 discussion questions and then 1 assignment that you have to put in our assignment folder. Okay. And when you're ready to turn it in, just click the assignment. This is the assignment itself, but this is the folder where you're going to upload it. All right. Questions, comments? Yeah. Okay. 1 question. Yes. All 3 of them are due by the 5th. Okay. Monday, 6 o'clock. Yes, Autumn. For tonight, okay, Autumn and others. All right. The first thing, all right, you're going into the course information module. Okay. And you're just going to introduce yourself and respond to 2 of your classmates. That's one thing. Okay. And then you're going to go into the next module, Introduction to Critical Thinking in the Academic Setting. Review this material. And then here's our second discussion question. And then we're going into the writing process module. And here's our reflection assignment. Okay. There it is. Okay. And again, once, like I keep saying, once I get our class converted to where I can post it on YouTube, I will just recap all of that in a message, in a D2L announcement. I'm sorry. Cool. I thank you all, okay, for your attention. Yeah, evening classes, gotta be a special kind of person to take evening classes, especially in a good way. It takes that extra commitment, right, to come in when you see everybody kind of leaving out. All right. Any final questions, final thoughts for me? Okay. I look forward to see, I wake up around this time. Okay. Okay. Either you work evenings or you're a party animal. Okay. Both of those are cool. Okay. Cool. Sleep is important, man. Get your rest. Okay. I look forward to getting to know you all in the discussion forum. So make sure you go in there and introduce yourself. Okay. Just share what you're comfortable with, though. All right. We're gonna have a little online community here. Okay. Anything else, my good people? I'm about to stop the recording.